Hey Beth, how's it going?
Hi, Judy. How are you today?
Good. It's a
Good.
beautiful Saturday. Hope everybody else is having a wonderful day out there. And
Here we are. Here we are. One more time. I wanted to tell you that before this started today, I pulled out my card from the Cosmic Journey. I love these cards. They're
oh,
so good. Heather, the astrologer, gave them to me. And of course, guess which one I picked? Ancestors. And it's
oh,
all about calling your ancestors. They're right there. So hello, Deborah. Hello, Mother. Hello, whoever else is over there.
people from
Welcome, welcome,
people
welcome.
from yeah, welcome family members from past lives. Welcome everybody, right?
Tribes.
I mean,
Yes.
that's our tribe. That makes up our tribe, life to life. So,
Also, Judy, I want to tell you that I just got
oh,
this.
you got a pendulum.
It's red jasper. I just dropped it, but this has Indian energy in it. I dropped it and broke the tip.
Oh,
And the whole point of red jasper, I've been studying it, is to ground you and make you slow down.
okay.
And then the Indian energy, makes me think of our past life. We should talk about our past life in Sedona or the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, for sure. The Hopis.
I don't think we ever launched that video. Do you?
We haven't launched any videos on our
Past
on,
life.
on our connection and
Well,
our life.
can we do
So
that? Do you want to start with that?
yeah, why not? So yeah, so it's just an interesting thing. So you know, how I just kind of, it's like when you meet people, it's like when Beth and I met, we just kind of like we got along really well, and there's some people you meet that you just got a connection with, and there's some people you meet that you just you don't like and you don't even know why, and a lot of it has to do with with our karmic lessons coming back and living again. And so so we always knew we had some type of connection, didn't really know what it was. And when we were in the Grand Canyon, we actually went to Sedona.
Wait, before you say that, I
Okay.
want to say you and I took a trip to Sedona, beautiful trip. And you and I went to this place and we both looked at each other and said, I've never been to the Grand Canyon. And you said the same thing. And we're like, let's go. So, I mean, I've been to Sedona so many times and I never went to the Grand Canyon. So we start to drive to the Grand Canyon and then you start to get memories of our past life. So tell us what you saw.
And I think we talked about it a little bit before, but it started becoming a lot more colorful or real. And basically being the Hopi Indians that we were, and being little girls, like on a sisters, being on a
Wagon train trail.
wagon train. Oh, you're spilling the words. Okay, I'll move my mouth. You should. Anyway, so yeah,
Like
so we're on this wagon.
like, I see a wagon train. I think it's turned over, or we're sitting on the
Yeah.
back of it.
And there's a lot of fire. Our parents are gone. We're waiting for parents to come back. They told us to stay safe. We're sitting there. Everything's kind of gone. And the American Indians came and got us. And
you were like 12, right?
I was around 12, and you were a few years
10.
younger. Yeah.
Okay. You were the big sissy on that one.
Yes. Taking care. And
so we're driving and more is coming to you, and the Indians come and get us.
So the Indians come and get us and take us back to it was basically kind of their place, which they had like whole like caves.
Because that's where they live there. They live underneath the overhang, and then they build up the walls, and you have to get a ladder to climb in. Is that what?
Yes, and that's what I saw, and I really want to see that next time if we go there, because I'm definitely going to go there again. I want to go there. And it makes sense, ever since I was a little kid. I've always been interested in those Indians that live in the sides of the mountains. So all the Indians, that's just was my thing. I felt like I lived in one of those or something. Anyway, so we're there, and
Like, where are our parents? I could tell it was going to be a tough energy. So where were our parents?
they died. There was a fight, there was a Indians, and
Attack.
attacked, and the wagon train, and we were safe, and the Indians came and got us, and they raised us.
Okay.
We lived with them, and they were really good to us. We grew up, you know, being Indians, and their tribe was Hopi. And
Yeah,
so the
that was
thing,
the interesting thing. Wait a minute. Can I just
okay,
interrupt
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was the interesting part was we got to the Grand Canyon and you're like, it's just unfolding, and you're like, and they were feeding us porridge, and we were very young, we were scared, but we really, I said, what's the lesson of that life? And you said it was to understand we had been told that Indians were savages and they were terrible, and it was to be told that we all are valuable, right? So we walk into the entrance of the Grand Canyon and we're standing there, and you go, oh, we were in the Hopi tribe. And we look down and there's this big star with all the tribes, and we're standing in the Hopi one.
Yeah,
And then
yes.
we start to walk and we're like, whoa, this is weird. We needed to come. I have chills, don't you?
Yeah, I do
We
too.
needed to be here. So we turn the corner and we go around, and there's a store. It has a little sign. It says the Hopi store. We go in and there's a book, and I pick it up and it says, and they fed them porridge and they took care of them. And I'm like, this is like such a deja vu. But that was so powerful. And I wonder, I mean, like, that's such a big trauma to be two kids. You said we didn't live long in that life.
No, well, you ended up, you
Killing you.
lived you lived longer than I did. We didn't, we did our thing, married, and did what we needed to do. But people just didn't really live that long anyway. But we were treated very well. It was, you
Then I
know,
get this red jasper, and I swear I went to the element store, and I said, I need a pendulum. And I walk over, and all these pendulums are hanging. This one just starts going bing, 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 bing. So I knew it was calling to me. And now I broke its little peak.
I wonder what that means, because I've broken a few of mine too, and I use them just to look at them sometimes, but yeah, a lot of them are missing the tips, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so it's super interesting, and I think people need to explore, and what, especially during childhood, like things that are coming to, that come to them, and the meaning of them. And I love how you said about American Indians, because we can even use that in this lifetime. It's like how we judge people by what the media tells us, and what, we have so many stories about how we think or feel about certain people, and then we get our mind changed when we meet somebody of a certain different,
and I think that's one of the most surprising things for me as a therapist. It's like I could have anybody come in my office, and when you get to know someone and you look deep and you understand that every single thing they've done is an attempt to get a need met, and if they have a better way, they'll probably use it if they're there and they want it. And then you can have compassion for them, because I have fallen in love with people that I didn't think I would even talk to, that are just beautiful souls covered in this pain, that they're acting out their pain, right? Hurt people.
well, exactly. And you do what you do, and you don't even recognize it sometimes, and that's why they reach out for help. And it's one of the hardest things in the world there's still a stigma with mental health, unfortunately. It's better in
I think
California, let's say, where I live, but
there's a stigma with mental health. What about metaphysics? What
well,
about being
oh my
psychic?
gosh. And tell me about it.
Hello, girl.
It's like, I want people to know, it's like, gosh, what I do is so wonderful, and I love it, and it helps so many people. And when you were talking about just people coming into your office, anybody I've read for, whether, it doesn't matter what color skin they have, what sexuality they are, what gender, whatever it might be, it's always the same issues, the same, there's not a difference, you know, when you get into the soul, you remember, we're souls living a human existence, and we just get into this human existence, and with this 3D stuff that we keep talking about, you know, this, which is a world that we live in, and our, you know, our bodies, and living in, you know, having
Yeah,
to just,
yeah, and I think that's why we were talking about how when we do this panel, or when you and I talk, or when you do a reading, how the energy lifts and the vibration gets higher, because that's what we're addressing. We're addressing the soul. We're not addressing the individual ego, that we all are innocent, right?
like, I am so sorry, my dog. So sorry, so sorry, guys. I love my four-legged souls here as well, but she's seeing something out there. I don't know. Anyway,
So I wanted to see if we could maybe talk about that energy of love today.
yeah, of
Is that
course.
okay? And I'm thinking, I had a nice walk this morning, and I had a lot of insight. And I think is my sister here?
She's always here with you. She says, thank you for calling on me. She says, thank you. Because normally she's got to come in and we're like, hi, Deborah, or she's already here. But she loved, you know, a lot of times they love being called on, and she's, you know, she's there to help you. And so,
I think she
yeah,
was
of
helping
course,
me.
she's
I think she
here.
was helping me on my walk to get some inspiration for today, because I was realizing, you know how the Eskimos have like 35 words for snow? Well, we have 1,000,000 words for love, right? As far as different types of love go. And I wanted to see if we could talk about the spiritual connections in love and what they are. There's 3: the twin flame, the soulmate, and the karmic. Is that okay to talk about some of
Yeah.
those? All right, so can I read the spiritual connection? So twin flame is someone you share the same soul with. Breathtaking connection filled with synchronicities. Everything about yourself that you love or have been running from is suddenly in front of you. Soulmate, instant connection, feels like you've known them before. Usually an easy relationship, typically the one you marry. It teaches you self-love. And then karmic is not an easy relationship, yet really hard to let go of. Brought together to learn a lesson you failed to master in a previous lifetime.
And sometimes they can be intertwined as well. And soulmates can also be people like friends, you know, like people, like you said, it goes easy. Like, so when Beth and I met, you know, it's just like it didn't take a long time for us to become friends. And so that's a soulmate type of connection. It might be somewhat karmic as well, but we were supposed to come together, I believe, to help. And if it comes together this easy, it's usually a helpful one.
Usually a soulmate. Whereas twin flame is a really hard one, because energetically you're like magnets, polar opposite. And nobody understands them but you. Thank you, Judy, for
Oh,
understanding twin flame.
there's people that do, because I've been trained. And the thing is that I know people think, oh, it's this romantic thing. And I'm just like, after dealing with, well, Baz, who's met her twin flame, I have not met mine. And I'm like, I never want to meet my twin flame.
Not after knowing me.
not after, well, you and a few other friends that I have, and people that I've worked with, because, you know, it's like meeting the part of you that is, it's like the two souls, like she read. I love that. It's like the same, it's like I always look at it like a DNA strand, only when we come down to earth, it becomes unwound, the female and then the male, and then they just everybody kind of does their thing, and then they come together. Most of the time, if you're not, chances are you're never going to meet your twin flame, and if you do, they could repulse you, but there's going to be some type of a connection. You're just not going to be,
Attraction and
yeah,
then a repulsion.
but
Because
it's intense and it doesn't go away. Well, you
yeah,
have
they're
experience.
in your energy, like they're in your head, they're in your space. You run into them. It's weird, but what I think I'm getting the lesson, and the lesson is, and they always, everything I've studied about this, and the way you know it is because it it's almost like a love addiction, an energy addiction, but it's not, because you're healthy. This is not, I'm not an unhealthy person, but what it is the lesson is unconditional love, because like it said, whatever is unhealed in you, you see that in your twin flame. And I'm glad my sister's here, because what I've been healing with my twin flame, and he doesn't even know anything about me or anything. I don't think. I mean, we have coffee occasionally, that's it. What I'm healing is feeling the self-love, because Deborah, my sister, the dead one who's here too,
She's like dead. No.
Well, you aren't really dead, are you?
Well, there's no
She was
death,
the
right?
one who was, she was like the hero.
she's-
She was everything, she was
an-
the best. And I was the unchosen. So I got to experience not being chosen. And often with twin flames, there's always a third person, or third energy. Why is that again? Why do they always pull someone else in?
Well, I mean, a lot of times, and let's go like with, like, and it's just different wherever you go, but there's always something there, and there always seems to be someone someone with an addiction. But remember that is your icky half. That is the piece of you that, that you're not in this lifetime, or that you've healed, or that, because it's you, it's you. And the more, and the more that you heal, I'm trying to explain this, the more that you heal,
it's hard.
Yeah, it is. And the more that you heal, the
more you heal them.
Right. So as you cross over someday and your souls come back together again, whether they grow or not, let's say they don't really do much growth
in this life, right?
But you do, you're still doing the growth for the soul, for the twin flame, when the flame comes back together as one. So I think in your case, the other person in there is somebody that, you are somebody that there is an intense, and he has these feelings, he has these thoughts about you all the time. I know he does. And really?
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I know, because you're right in the middle. You're in the middle of it. You're in the middle of the cesspool, right? And
yeah. I'm like, dear God, please get this person out of my energy. Please help me move forward. If I'm not the chosen one, move on.
And
it's always he's here.
Well, and the other person, it keeps it busy, and it's like, you're the one that you can bring home to mom, is like kind of what I say to you. And it's like, the other people, they're the ones that you just play. It's like, it's like out of sight, out of mind, but it's like, but when he sees you and you come into the energy, it's like all of a sudden
I feel it.
Right.
And so this is really cute and funny. So I finally said, I'm trying to get on with things and date, right? And anyway, the point of my sister is, Deborah was the beauty, I was the ugly duckling. Okay. Deborah was the hero, I was nobody. I was whatever. And it's okay. That's my karma, that's my journey. And I'm healing that. And I'm healing it because of my twin flame, because I know how lovable I am. I know now, chosen, not chosen, alone or together, I'm lovable. And I think that's the gift of twin flame. I think it's to love yourself, because you love them so unconditionally. And they say with your twin flame, you don't say, I love you, because that's a given. There's unconditional spiritual love. You say, you are free. And what that means is you are free to your journey, and to create what you need, and to find what makes you happy, and to learn from your experience, not how do I hold on? Because that's how it feels. It feels like you want to hold on. So I was going to say, I went into coffee and I said, I can't be your friend anymore. And I was crying, and he's like, what is this? Who are you? He's like, what? And so I told my best friend, I go, I needed to be chosen. So I told my best friend, and she goes, I can't believe you did that, first of all. And second of all, I, for one, always champion how you always lead with your heart, Beth, which healed me, because that's how I am, So
we're all,
twin flames are hard. Love is hard. Love is the ass kicker
Well,
of the universe.
and 99% of the time, 99.99999, even if you meet your twin flame, it's not going to work. And I think that's where, when you've met a lot of psychics or had other readings and they don't believe in, you can tell me, oh, they don't even believe in twin flames. And it's like, I don't think there's something, it's hard for some people to grasp onto, and unless they've learned about them or experienced or
Even,
know.
even intuitive people, Judy, because I
Yeah.
just talked to Kay today and she's like, what's that? So I
So
think I have misdiagnosed a few clients from their twin flame thinking, oh, looks like a love addiction. That looks like an obsession because it's always in their energy. You know what I mean? But
and it could be, and that's where
I know.
the intuitive thing comes in there, because some people, it's not. That's why it's more of the, I explain it like where you've experienced this, or the few people that I know, my lifetime that I've had the twin flame thing. It's because I've definitely been addicted. I've definitely met people like that guy in Australia. Oh my God. Ugh. And definitely not a twin flame. Definitely not. Just you're in a place and a time and just whatever. And I think that we also have our processes that we have to go through as far as kind of getting over love. Some of us love intently, and I don't give my heart very easily, but when I do, it's all. So when it breaks off, it's really rough. So so you have to kind of, so I know as being a therapist, you've got to look, you're looking at that, and you're also being like, wow, how many of these people were actually had met their twin flame? But the thing with the twin flame is that the energy, or when you, just like when you meet when you see your twin flame, it's more, I'm not leaving names out, it's going to it's more pure. It's like, you see,
Yeah,
you
there's
see
just
them and you go in, and there's this, you just know there's something there, and you just got to go on with your life, and they have to kind of come to the realization doing their work, or letting God and the universe work for them. And that's why I'm always telling people, pray for them, ask the universe, say, hey, can you make this easier? Ask your angels, ask your sister to work for you. She's your guide. She can, I remember Sylvia
Deborah.
Brown had said, her dad, she was really upset. She talks about in one of her books, or I know she had, I think one of her show, when she was on a show one day, and she said, look, when my dad died, I was really, really upset, and I was there crying at his bed, and he just said, Sylvia, what are you so upset for? He goes, I can do so much more work for you, up here than I could ever do for you, down there on earth. So,
I think, yeah. And I think I'm getting the gift. The gift is really divine love. Listen to this. This is good. In Persian poetry, there are many references to candles' fire that attracts the moth. The moth gets burned every time it touches the fire, yet gets up and flies towards it again. It repeats a selfless journey until it becomes one with the fire. What? That's love. Love is too much tenderness, too much, like just bleeding because you have such a deep feeling.
It's
So
not giving,
now,
it's not
what?
giving up, right? It's just it's going. It's not giving up. It's like doing what your nature is telling you to do. And I watched my dog, or my son's dog over here, it's just like, she does what she does. And we need to be more like that with love
Yes.
and giving
And I'm
and
so grateful for you, Judy, because you're so compassionate with me on this journey. It's just the most craziest journey. You told me 5 years ago, you're going to meet someone and he's got this certain look, and you're going to be across the room and you guys are going to see each other and it's going to wake you up. And I was like, that happened. And it was so cute because you used to say, I was here for like a couple of years, and you go, he's around you. And I'm like, who the heck could that be? So wait a minute. So when I got awakened, it was like, nobody got me. Nobody understood. They all thought I was crazy, and probably him too. I think, really, honestly, I think he did too. And you were the only one that understood, because you know my soul, and you know I'm not a crazy person, and
No.
that I'm wise, and that I'm really trying to find transformation and change with my Scorpio North node in my chart, right? And
Right.
that I want love to win, whatever that looks like. And the good news is, you told me if that doesn't work, the twin flame, you're gonna have a soulmate, and it's
Mhm.
gonna be so much easier.
It, it will, but this is you're going to learn so much with
I
this,
am.
whether, and you
I
are
am.
learning right now, whether it goes or not, and just the love and compassion for yourself and for others, because, I mean, and the thing is, Beth, I mean, how, I mean, I just told you what I saw, and then it happens in almost that same way. And, and I can only go with my thoughts and my feelings, like when you found him, and you finally, like, it took how many
But
years? A
the
couple of years.
problem was, I rushed in like, oh, I've been waiting for you. And he's like, who the hell are you? Which is a very typical twin flame thing.
Yes.
He didn't, and you said he didn't know if I was just an energy of flirty, whatever. And it's okay. It's okay, because I'm at peace now, and I know I'm connected to something greater. And my
Oh,
sister, there's something so much bigger. And that's the love I think we're all trying to find through recovery, through relationship, through romance, through what you and I are doing together. And your light keeps going off and on and off and on. I love that.
and I don't, yeah, I've noticed that too, because also this brightness, I'm like, wow, what the heck? So I don't know if it's my camera, or maybe there it goes.
I think it's spirit,
Here's,
honest to God. You know,
yeah.
I,
Um,
yeah. So thank
so
you. Thank you. Thank you for
no,
being there.
of course, I love, this, it's what I do. I love this. And I love helping and teaching people to move forward and move through and to understand. And I learn so much from, every day from people. So I thank you. I thank people that I have the, opportunity, and, to work with, because it's really, it really
It's a
opens
gift.
me up quite a bit, right? And I
Yeah.
mean, we're all on a journey. I'm on a journey too. I'm a worker like everybody else, and we do things a little bit differently. Of course, there's people out there doing,
Look at your light just came on again.
I don't know, and you see my hands, I don't know, I feel like I'm Italian or something. I'm like, oh.
I think you're getting enlightened. I think you are
Probably.
enlightened.
And oh, so, and then the thing is, and light. If I could
Okay,
just say light.
where's mine?
Okay, it's not coming. It's not. See, I want to. Gosh, wouldn't that be cool if you could just go? The light came on.
I think
Um, but one of the things too, when you were talking about, it was just the soulmate thing, it's so easy. It's so much easier because of the fact that, when you meet somebody, it just works. So like, if
it's not the hard work of growth like
right.
the twin flame connection.
Right. So like, if you had met, if you went up to your soulmate and said, "Hey, woo, oh my goodness," like you said it when you, met him,
It
it
would
would have been
reciprocate, right?
right. It would have been, I mean, he could have, it might have been like, "Whoa, whoa, you got a lot of energy," but it would have been easier. It'd been like, "Whoa," there would be a lot, less, uh it's just like when you two got together, when you guys kind of had your little date thing, and it would have been, it would have just kind of went more, it would have went, instead of a block for him where he was scared. I think when he woke up the next day, it was like, what the heck? And so with you, with the soulmate, it would have been like, wow, that was great, hey, when can I see you again, kind of thing, or whatever. So it's just
It's an intense, scary connection, because you have to face your fears,
right. And
right?
karmic, the thing with karmic is, you meet people and they might be somebody that you just know, but they're not a soulmate. The connection's not really there, but like, but there's something about them that maybe you don't like, or they could be a boss. Usually it's a boss, or someone that you meet, or a neighbor, or something, because we all make our, God, the universe brings people together because it's all about growth and whatever you need. So the karmic lesson, once the karmic lesson is learned, So like, it could even be like a lover or something. If this isn't the right person for you and they keep coming in, it's like, you can't change this person if they don't want to be changed. And if
Yeah,
they're
and
not ready.
it's so interesting that as I raise my vibration, I'm requiring kind of a higher vibration, whereas before it
Yes.
was just this infatuation.
And that's
Listen,
that's the 5D, right? So when you start going into that, when you start being able, and I always like my hourglass, when you're able to just zoom, not move your body, but it's your soul, just move that yourself, your real self through there up into the 5D,
yeah,
then you're in that 4D and you're up and down. So you're dealing with 3D. You have to, because our bodies, we live here. But but we have to kind of find that we always find that balance, and we get into the 5D, and that's where we find our growth and our spirit and our love.
listen to this. This is Dolores Cannon. She says, when we have completed all the journeys and adventures through our variety of lives, we are supposed to return to the Creator with our accumulation of knowledge. It is then absorbed. In this way, we are considered cells in the body of God. Dolores Cannon. I love that. That's why we're having these human experiences.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, for personal gain or pleasure, although that could be a side effect. And it's not, we aren't being punished for being our own imperfect human selves when things don't go the way we want. It's to have experiences, to be absorbed in the collective.
If things don't go the way we want, right? And again, it goes into the soul journey. If the 3D keeps bouncing you back, okay, that might be karmic. It might be like, okay, maybe you're going the wrong direction, or maybe you're doing it, or maybe your journey is, you're meant to be at a certain place, but maybe not now. And I'm dealing with something, right, the exam thing, and it's like, it's a thing of being in the right place at the right time. And yeah, it kicks your butt and you sit there and you wonder why, but that's 3D, and you got to get out of that and say it's what it is. And here we got Mercury retrograde. We're in the shadow phase right now, guys. So if anybody's got electronical issues, I've been on Comcast for 2 days now. So
for people who don't know what Mercury retrograde is, could you talk about that a little?
Just basically, Mercury retrograde is when it appears that Mercury kind of like stops in the sky for a minute, and it's retrograde, so it's not moving in its forward trajectory. And from what I've been told, I'm not an astrologer, but it actually isn't going backwards. It just appears to be going backwards. And so what happens during that time, since it's not moving forward, is that and this is just my little bit of understanding, is that Mercury is about the messenger and getting messages and communication.
Yeah.
So there's going to be communication issues, electrical issues,
misunderstandings, miscommunication. Don't sign contracts
unless you have to. Don't. If you're flying somewhere, if you're traveling, expect delays. If you don't get a delay, awesome, but expect a delay.
I'm going to be in Vegas for Mercury retrograde. That should be great. But I'm with a friend who says she's good in Mercury. She's going to keep me grounded. So,
and if the plan is already there, then and not made during the shadow phase or made in the retrograde itself, then you just move through with it. But just expect some delays and things. Just know that, yes, it can be frustrating, but just go Mercury retrograde. Just take a deep breath. And
you and I have been laughing that every day feels like Mercury retrograde anymore. That's why we're being pushed into 5D. Like yesterday, I got a bill from the IRS. I'm like, where did this come from? And I started to go into 3D. And I go, wait a minute, I have to remember my peace of mind is more important than any amount of money, any situation. And then I just go, that's 5D. That's where we're headed, is into that place where there are no big deals, right?
Yeah. So I think some of us, even during the non-Mercury retrograde times where it feels like we're still in MR or Mercury retrograde, sometimes I'll call it MR. is a thing of, I think us people who are because the veil is thinning. I mean, we are getting so close to, and we're having so many visitations and, to the other side, and people
And
visiting
being more
us.
intuitive, right?
Yeah, that's opening up. And I think the ones that are really gaining that enlightenment, and it's getting to that point of, oh gosh, just lost my train of thought here, but it's just kind of a thing like you're feeling the nuts and bolts a little bit, the 3D energies a lot more than, let's say, somebody who's not, because if they're just living in 3D, honestly, right now, I think that's why we have so many alcoholics and drug addicts and people who are just finding
Unconscious.
other ways, right, to get by, because their soul is like, what, and especially with COVID and the lockdowns and, and all these things that have happened in the past few years, and the suicides and all of these
Yeah.
things. So I think
And the
it's,
deaths from COVID.
yeah, and
Mhm.
just the deaths from people who didn't, who from not just from COVID, but the people that were not going to the doctors and getting their treatments, or getting diagnosed for heart attacks and cancers, and just being at home and dying. And I mean, there's just so many, this thing is so huge. So it's kind of a thing of really just taking care of ourselves the best that we can, and having faith that, God is there, the light is there, and it's always darkest before the light, what, dawn, dark before the
Darkest
dawn or
before the
something.
dawn.
But it's true. I know it's corny and it's an
It
old
is.
saying,
It's so true.
and we're
And
going
don't
into,
quit. And you always tell me, don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle.
and know too that, when the media is talking to you, people watch the news and things, and it's just like, please, pray about this, go into meditation with what you're hearing, and find out, does this feel right to me, does it not? Because there's a lot of mixed messages, there's a lot of stuff, and
Propaganda.
it creates a lot of chaos, and we already have so much chaos, and we're in the
Yes.
middle of a spiritual war. Anyway, I'm on a
No, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And I want to say that what I know is what we focus on gets bigger. So that's why we have to keep our energy up, be positive, work through our stuff. You know what I mean? If we don't work through our stuff, it's like
focus on
pain,
light. So like
pain.
you're saying, it's so easy to focus on the glums, and it's so easy to just stay in your blankets and watch all the movies on Netflix or do whatever. But you know what? If you can just focus on the light, if something little happens and you're like, wow, something good, just be like, wow, focus on that. Focus on that. Even if it's only an extra $5 that you got or something, focus on, wow, this is great, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Or it's small whatever, in comparison to whatever what you might need, but just remember that, it's a start. And then and just like you were saying, if we focus on the good and the light, then more good and light is going to come to you. And it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy for me. I don't think, if you talk to any light worker, they're going to tell you, oh yeah, I mean, but you do it, and you feel it sometimes, and you just kind of go, it's just kind of being that positive, just like you tell your clients. Probably it's just the thing of, hey, you know what, well, tell me something good that happened. You woke up this
But
morning.
you also can't go from wounded to a quantum leap into positivity.
No.
There is a journey. And I love the saying, the pain you refuse to feel will be inflicted on those who depend on you. So we do have an obligation to heal ourselves. And that really is the twin flame journey, is to heal ourselves, to bring
Yes.
that light, even like exponentially together for the world. It's to bring love to the light. And it's hard. I know a lot of people are so afraid to do that inner work. And what I've got this week is, what I say is, it's acute pain for a short period or chronic pain forever. Because if you don't heal the dark, you can't appreciate the light.
exactly. And there's different ways of healing, and it's just, and with therapy, it's just like going, it takes time,
Yeah.
you
So
can't,
I'm saying,
and
yes, focus on the positive, but let yourself grieve, let yourself cry,
yeah,
let yourself feel, to bring it to the light and transcend it. That's our organic way to do it, right?
right, because that's getting
Not
into
just,
your, yeah, I mean, that's getting into your soul. It's not just like getting into the brain and, and doing whatever. And then, we're going to change things around today. And it's just like, it's like really getting into the soul and letting the soul grow, letting the soul see how beautiful they really are and see how beautiful you are. Cause that's you,
yeah, you've
and
always been whole. You're always whole.
yes. And you can't, you can't separate, the soul from the body. It's there, it's intact. You were a soul before you became a body, before you were in a body. The body was here, the soul comes down in the body, and you're born, and there you go. And I mean, you were alive for eons, and you've had many experiences, whether it's been on earth with past lives, or some people are coming down for the first time, that from up there, right, from other places right now. And that's just a whole nother video, right? Because people come from
Let's
their
save
star
that.
seeds,
Let's,
and people
yeah,
coming from the Pleiades, and a
let's
lot of
save
us are
that.
star seeds. Most of us light workers can go back and are star seeds. I mean, I know with me, it's a Venusian thing, and Pleiades type of thing. Though that's again another thing. But we can kind of go into, there's so many places that we can learn lessons. The thing with Earth, the life is short, we have the
It's
highs
hard.
of the highs and the lows of the lows. But we learn so much so fast if we let our, but we have to allow ourselves. And sometimes people, we wonder, it's like, well, why did that why is that 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 3-year-old in the hospital, dying, and this 105-year-old is just smoking, a pack of cigarettes a day still, and smoking a quart of whiskey, and they're doing great. And I mean, and it's, but we all learn. And that's the thing, it's not just the life of that child, let's say, that we go, wow, that's so sad, they're so young. But in the eyes of God and the soul, it's like, what are the lessons that are being taught to the people around them? How much growth does that
And
soul with get for, or give out to the people around them as they're going through this journey? So it's something that the people around them, their mothers, their father, the whatever, the doctors, the nurses,
And you know
are
what I
are
think
growing.
we have to find, and this is another twin flame thing, is um, that love is actually impersonal, that it's not, it says people suffer the heartbreak of parting from their loved ones because their love is personal. Although everyone has the knowledge that such love is transient, everything in the planet is transient and cyclic because of death. We ignore that fact. So what we do is we try to attach to love instead of become love.
Yeah.
And that's the lesson for the twin flame dance, I think, is that we are love, and
I-
that we're already attached and detached, and everything's transient. You cannot possess someone.
no,
Does this seem
you're,
so basic to you? Because I'm just getting this. Like
well,
you're
no, it
like
is
always a little ahead. It
it
is
is
basic,
basic. It makes sense
but it's
because,
profound too, right?
yeah, it's way profound. And it just shows the connectedness that we already have here, the spiritual connectedness to God and the light here. So when we meet our twin flames, you just have to go through your journey, they go through their journey, and hopefully you guys are able to come together. If you can come together and you're into reunion, what it's called, and it very rarely happens, but when it does, it is supposed to be just amazing.
But the
So
irony is that to have your reunion, you have to let go. There's a
yes.
runner and a chaser. So when you let go, I mean, honest to God, it's so hard. But once you let go, it's like you really let go, like let go.
and
And
and you're
then, and that's what I'm saying about love. It's like, this is what I've been struggling with. Why do I only get what I really need or want after I have to surrender it. My whole life has been like that. And that is our lesson, right?
Because you can't control everything. You are not in control. God is in control. And that might have been a karmic lesson, for you. And now finally, when you get it, and that's great. You get it, it's like, yay. And then you stop, just, you're like sitting or
Pushing the
holding
river.
back. Yeah, you got to stop resisting, resisting. I don't know.
It's
But,
like my little Jasper about slowing down and letting go and letting the universe take care of it, right?
Accepting, saying, okay, that's fine, and move forward, just like your little Jasper. I love it. You just want to hold it in your hand and just take in the grounding.
I love
right?
it. I'm just like, I'm
It's
sorry
so pretty.
I broke you. I'm so sorry I broke you.
Oh, it's beautiful. The energy is still with it. So
is my sister around? Does she have any wisdom for us today?
she's always got wisdom. She's giving me this look. Right now she's just saying she loves you, and she says it's that love I have for you, that you, even on earth, that maybe sometimes I didn't show you in the earthly way, but it was there. And what she's going on, what we're talking about today, I think, as far as the, it's like what you were saying, what came to me is that we're taught this third dimensional love, right? It's like Cinderella and the prince comes and this happens, and
right.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and it's this, we're down here learning that no, there can be unconditional love. It's like, why do you love your children when they kind of are but not very nice to you sometimes, or they do things to you, but you love them? Why? Well, because there's something inside of you. It's a love, it's a caring, it's a connection.
And it said that love is the only real thing. It's the only true thing that doesn't go away or change.
Absolutely. And it's
hard to believe down here, isn't it?
It is, because we've got the dark. The dark is running everything. So it's like we see all this darkness, which is fear and chaos. Wherever you see a lot of chaos and fear, there's a lot of darkness. Whether they say they're doing it for light or they're doing it for, they are not. An army of God is standing there ready. And yeah, an army of God, they can, they're going to protect and they're going to do what they can do. But anybody, whatever, they can take chaos, and they can take this third dimensional icky energy, and they can call it whatever they want, but it's still, it's still 3D, it's still icky stuff. And whether they're saying they do it for good, well,
no. What are you talking about right now?
Oh, so it's just, let's say people who will go out and say, I'm doing this for God, and they blow something up.
Doesn't feel love.
And I'm not talking just about certain religions. I'm talking about even just people that are just, I'm gonna, I don't know, Jim Jones. And I mean, just, there's all kinds of this stuff still happening. And there are people that start things out for the right reasons, but they get really big. And again, here comes the ego, which is 3D. And then it's all about, and I think that's where I'm kind of going with that. Just basically
gotcha.
Just the light is the light. The light is the army of God. And you want to be on the light, because we are huge. And just one other thing is just that, remember that there was only a third of heaven that was basically, let's say, kicked out, right? Two-thirds stuck with the light. So the army's big. So we have to stop fighting so hard. We have to pray. We have to be there and be defensive, defend ourselves, be more in that stance.
And also, it's like you and my sister always said to me, you have to believe, just believe.
Yes.
And it is so flippin' hard sometimes, but the more you practice, the better you get at it, right?
Yes, it's believing, and then the believe goes into knowing, right? And then it's just
I like that. Yeah.
And as you know, you grow.
As
You
you grow.
I love that. Just maybe your sister gave that to me. I don't know. That just like, um, but you,
I'm so glad you're in my life, and I'm so glad we're doing that.
me too. I just love how, our show is morphing, and if you've been with us from the beginning, it's,
Thank
this is
you.
the
Thank
beginning
you for
still.
hanging in there, and
Yeah.
thank you for letting us grow, and thank you for being interested.
And,
And
and please thumbs up, like our channel if you like it. Send us a note or an email or something if there's something you want to see, or things that maybe you want to change, or ideas that you might have.
how we can be more helpful.
Absolutely. And, we do plan at some point, as we get this going a little bit more, starting to do, a live show, and, here, and, maybe once a week or something. So that way we can really kind of answer your questions, right there. And
we've had a little lull because things have come up. You've got a different job, and I've been busy traveling and things like that. So we'll
so
be back.
life's been life. And so probably, in the next month or two, as the universe brings us to where we need to go, we're gonna, we'll start, making our changes and doing what we need to do. But in the meantime, I just tell everybody, just pray. I don't care what God, I don't care what you want to call him, him, her, it doesn't matter, it's the same. So just know that, and believe, like Beth said.
I like the saying, say not I have found the truth, say rather I found a truth.
Yes.
So just whatever your truth is, whatever brings you love and light, just let it rip. Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you, and I've heard this from people like, oh gosh, there was a pastor that I knew a while back, and just other people who even, who run churches, these big evangelical people will even say, just, you're going to be really surprised, when the rapture or whatever comes, and who's going to go first, because you're going to be looking around going like, oh, I'm still here, or oh, and there could be a reason. You could be living a great life, and you're here because you just want to, because they need you, because you're you're part of the army. But at the same time, it's just knowing.
Do you believe in the rapture?
Well, I'm not saying so much like the rapture. I'm trying to kind of bring in everything, but but there's going to be a time where, a lot of people, just like now, have been dying, and a lot of people have been, and when we're in a big spiritual war going from, the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, things are probably going to get a little bit worse, and they're going to get better. And I think sometimes when people talk about the rapture, and that's why I kind of use that word loosely, but if something like that were to happen, I think it's just kind of meaning, look, a lot of people are going to go. They're going to choose to go. And I think these type of things
they are
just
going. I think
happening,
they are
right?
going.
It's happening now. It's not just I don't think there's going to be one day and all of a sudden people wake up and they're like, wow,
Not to change the subject, but ask my sister why you keep having the light go off and on. Or ask Marion.
Marion. You know what they're telling me? They're telling me it's the camera.
Okay.
So there's nothing supernatural. No. I'm your sister's here. Marion's always at my right side here, my guardian angel.
Well,
they're saying it's the camera. So I've got to figure out, maybe it's the darker backdrop. I'm not sure. Maybe I need to kind of work on that.
I like it. Keep it. All right, we need to go, right? So
yeah, we're going to get going here today. I'm just sending out many blessings to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Marion.
Yep. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And, and if you need therapy, and great therapy, holistic therapy from Beth, in Texas or California, we'll have her information below.
Amazing readings from Judy and her angels.
And I'd love to help you I'd love to help you guys with that too. If you want to, you know, get a hold of me, just send a little email our way and we'll make sure that we have the email addresses and stuff down below. So that way you can go ahead and get a hold of us if you would like.
Have a
So,
great weekend,
all right.
everybody. Bye.
All right, guys. Thanks for showing up today. And until next time,
Bye-bye.
you know, God bless. Bye-bye.